delegates vying for the most coveted title of Miss Earth 2018. Miss Earth is now in its 18th year, and of course we would like to acknowledge the people behind the biggest and most relevant environmental event, the Miss Earth 2018 pageant. We are referring to no less than the executives of Carousel Productions, headed by Mr. Ramon Monzon, the president. Ms. Lorraine Ship, executive vice president, and the vice president and project director, Ms. Piche Veneracion. And so we'll give a big hand to Carousel Productions for another very successful edition of Miss Earth. We would also like to thank the following for supporting Miss Earth 2018, our official hotel partners, Diamond Hotel Manila, our official bus transport, Viking Car Rental, and to our sponsors, Gandang Ricky Reyes Chain of Salons, Coco Life, Freedom to Live Your Life, the official insurance provider, Miss Earth Foundation, Kitco Travel and Tours, Juraven Transport, Petron, knows you deserve only the best, Sunmig Light, mahaba-habang inuman, Sunmig Light, Magnolia Chicken, three ways to wow. Inebra San Miguel Premium Gin, enjoy your premium moment. Philippine Airlines, the heart of every Filipino. PCSO, stronger than ever. Pagcor, creating opportunities beyond gaming. And of course, for our venue for today, here at Diamond Hotel Manila. Also, special thanks to Elite Translations Philippines. Now for today's pre-judging round, we will be focusing on each delegate's communication skills and EQ, that means environmental quotient. Each delegate will be given 4 minutes to face our judges. And here are our judges. First judge, he is an associate professor of political science and founding director of the La Salle University Institute of Governance. He was the past president of the Philippines Political Science Association and currently sits in the National Leadership Council of Sustainable Development Solutions Network, Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Francisco Magno. Next judge, he is the acting head of intelligence and security at the Department of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Raymond Tolentino. Mr. Raymond Toledo. Our third judge, she is a BS Psychology Cum Laude graduate from the University of the Philippines. She also holds a degree in Environment and Natural Resource Management from the same university. She was crowned Miss Earth Philippines 2006 and Miss Earth Water 2006. She currently works as a news anchor on PTV4. My very good friend, Ms. Cathy Untalan Vital. Without further ado, let's begin the Miss Earth 2018 Intelligence Pre-Judging by calling on our first delegate coming from Asia and Oceania, Miss Australia.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Monique Shippen. I'm 25 years old and I'm from Sydney, Australia. I've dedicated the last 5 years of my life to study to become an early childhood teacher, a music teacher and a high school teacher. My advocacy is to reduce the use of single-use plastics by educating children about the 5 R's and how to reduce our food waste by using composting and minimizing our use of resources by repurposing and designing products that can be reused.
Hi, Monique.
Hi.
here. How important do you think it is to start the kids young in terms of instilling eco-friendly habits?
Yes, so children always start off with a very open and clear mind, and I noticed when I was teaching them that they always want to learn new things, and at that age it's important to instill this knowledge and these ways and practices so it can become a habit for the future. So at my preschool we learnt about growing vegetables and the cycle of nature and how we can, if we grow our own resources, and then instead of putting natural scraps into our bin, which ends up in landfill, this can be composted and can decompose naturally. So it is important to teach these children because they are the future, and this can be a habit that they can bring with them for the rest of their lives.
Good morning, Monique.
Hi.
For the brief period of time that you're here in the Philippines, what is your impression of the country and the people?
Yes, well, I've enjoyed my time here in the Philippines. It's a beautiful country, and just like Sydney, where I'm from near the beach, I noticed that there's so many beautiful islands here, and I think it's really great that Boracay has been reopened, and I haven't been able to visit it since, but I was there 2 years ago, and I really understand and appreciate why they closed it for rehabilitation, because our Great Barrier Reef at home in Australia is in big danger from pollution. So I really think it's beautiful that the people here are aware about these issues and can do something to stop this. But I also did notice that there is some pollution in the streets. So I would like to also share my knowledge about how in Australia we sort our rubbish and try and share my knowledge through that. Thank you.
Good morning.
Hi.
It is said that coral reefs are endangered, and you mentioned the Great Barrier Reef, and certainly it's something very important to Australia. So, what do you think are the important steps to address pollution and how it affects coral reefs around the world?
Yes, so there is a lot of farming near the reefs, and a lot of the pollution is coming from the runoff from the farming. So we need to make sure that, and also ecotourism, because the Great Barrier Reef is visited by a lot of people around the world. So we need to make sure if we don't use these single-use plastics, that's a strong advocacy of mine, because if we bring our own water bottles and reusable bags and reusable items, then we won't be throwing away these plastic bottles near the ocean. And it's something so simple that everyone can change in their daily lives. And it's not too much to ask. If we can leave the home with our phones and our wallets, then I think we can leave the home by bringing our own bottles and our own bags. And because we have handbags that we bring with us all the time, every day, and why can't we bring our own bottles? If we think about in Australia, there's billions of plastic bottles and plastic bags used a year.
Time is up, Mrs.
Thank
Shirley.
you. Thank you so much.
Next up, we have Miss Cambodia. The translator is Miss Lee Panha, Mr. Lee Panha from Arise Agency.
ជំរាបសួរម៉ាមូហើយនាងខ្ញុំឈ្មោះកែវសីលីហួរមកពីរាជធានីភ្នំពេញនាងខ្ញុំជាកញ្ញាកម្ពុជាឆ្នាំ2018
Mabuhay Philippines. My name is Kausei Lihua. I'm from Phnom Penh, Cambodia. I am Miss Earth Cambodia 2018.
ក្នុងនាមខ្ញុំជា Goddess River Advocacy របស់នាងខ្ញុំគឺការថែរក្សាការពារដងទន្លេមេគង្គ
As a river goddess, my advocacy is to maintain and protect Mekong River.
ហើយនាងខ្ញុំចង់ផ្សព្វផ្សាយឲ្យប្រជាជនដែលគាត់រស់នៅតាមដងទន្លេសូមកុំបោះចោលសម្រាមឬកាកសំណល់ផ្លាស្ទិកចូលទៅក្នុងដងទន្លេ
And I would like to call for education for people who live alongside the river, not to throw the garbage, the waste of plastic into the river.
ហើយកាត់បន្ថយការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិក
And to reduce the use of plastic.
ពីព្រោះការបោះចោលសម្រាមចូលទៅក្នុងទន្លេមេគង្គអាចបណ្ដាលផលប៉ះពាល់ការរស់នៅក្នុងដងទន្លេនិងជីវភាពប្រជាជនដែលរស់នៅទីនោះ
Because the waste that has been thrown in the river not only cause effect to the life in the river, but also to our life as well.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm sure that Cambodia, like the Philippines, you get a lot of tourists as well. And one of the problems really is when tourists get one plastic bottle each per trip, let's say. How do you suggest can we address that?
ដែលហេតុថានៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជានៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាក៏ដូចជាប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដូចគ្នាដែរអញ្ចឹងក៏មានទេសចរចូលនៅក្នុងប្រទេសជាច្រើនអញ្ចឹងគាត់នឹងប្រើផ្លាស្ទិកតើកញ្ញាមានមានចង់ថាមានពីកពេចបែបណាដើម្បីកាត់បន្ថយការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិកនេះ
នេះខ្ញុំនឹងប្រាប់ពួកគាត់ឲ្យកាត់បន្ថយការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិកហើយកាត់បន្ថយការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិក
I just informed them on how important it is of the plastic waste and why we need to reduce the plastic using.
Good morning. What would you say would be the important historical spots for tourists to visit in your country, in Cambodia?
អ្វីទៅជាចំណុចចម្បងដែលធ្វើឲ្យទេសចរចូលមកទស្សនានៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជា ពីព្រោះប្រទេសកម្ពុជាមានប្រាសាទអង្គរវត្តដ៏អស្ចារ្យ Because Cambodia we have Angkor Wat, we can attract tourism to visit us. ហើយប្រជាជនកម្ពុជាចេះស្រឡាញ់គ្នាចេះជួយគ្នាទៅវិញទៅមក And also our people is love and caring. We love to share our love to other people as well. ហើយស្វាគមន៍ដល់ជនជាតិបរទេសដែលគាត់មកទស្សនានៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជា We always give a warm welcome to all the tourism who visit Cambodia.
Thank you.
You said that managing the Mekong River is an important advocacy. Mekong River runs through different countries, so what do you think is the cooperation needed among different countries, including Cambodia, in managing pollution in Mekong River?
ដោយហេតុថាដងទន្លេមេគង្គត្រូវបានហូរកាត់ប្រទេសជាច្រើនអញ្ចឹងតើបញ្ញាគិតយល់ថាតើយើងត្រូវការការសហការបែបណាដើម្បីជួយថែទាំនៅដងទន្លេនេះទាំងអស់គ្នាដោយហេតុថាដងទន្លេមេគង្គត្រូវហូរឆ្លងកាត់ប្រទេសច្រើនអញ្ចឹងតើកញ្ញាយល់ថាត្រូវមានការសហការបែបណាដែរដើម្បីអាចថែទាំនៅដងទន្លេនេះទាំងអស់គ្នា តើទៅលើការរួបរวมគ្នាក្នុងការថែទាំដងទន្លេមេគង្គតើយើងគួរថែទាំបែបណាដែរចាទី1គឺយើងត្រូវតែរួមគ្នាត្រូវកាត់បន្ថយការបោះចោលសំរាមឬកាកសំណល់ផ្លាស្ទិកកាត់បន្ថយ The first thing that we could do all of us is to reduce the use of plastic and the waste that has been thrown in the river.
Time is up. Thank you, Miss Cambodia.
Thank you.
Now let's have Miss China. Her translator, Miss Louisa So of Elite in Translation Philippines.
Hello， 大家好，我的名字叫郭亚萌，今年21岁，我来自美丽的中国北京。
Okay, good morning everyone. I am Miss Guo Yameng from China. I came from Beijing.
我在生活中是一个热爱生活的人。
I love life. I'm a person who loves life.
我在生活中很喜欢乐于助人，很喜欢小动物。
I love to help people and also I am fond of animals.
在生活中，我总尽自己所能去帮助我需要帮助的人，并且从未停止过对生活的热爱和对艺术的追求。
So from my everyday life, I would like to make a difference by helping other people, and also to pursue my interest in the arts.
我的爱好很多，例如声乐、舞蹈。
So my hobbies are like music and also dance.
我学习过很多东西，在大小的比赛中也获得过很好的成绩，但是我从未停止于此，因为我想要更精彩的人生。
So I also won so many competitions, other competitions, but aside from that, I also wanted to better myself to learn more.
Hi, what was your favorite part of the pageant?
对于我们的这个选美哈，你最喜爱的部分是什么呢？
我最喜爱的部分是我们经常会去体验一些东西，比如说我们去植树，然后跟着大家一起会去参加一些公益的活动，比如说给这些小孩子啊什么的一起去参加这样的活动，然后我很喜欢这样的一种感受和体验。
So my favorite part is our going out, doing some charity activities, and also the planting, going out, and also okay, especially with the children. The activities with the children, she loves it very much.
Would you do this when you go back to China as well?
你去会这样做吗？这种活动跟小孩子的互动。
是的，我在中国会经常参加一些公益的活动，然后会去山区做一些捐赠，并且去跟他们每年都会定期的有一些活动和互动。
In China, back in China, she always attends this kind of event, charity events. Also, he goes up to the mountain and do some activities there. And every year, she does that.
Good morning. What would you say is the most important environment issue in China today?
你觉得中国现在呢，目前的那个环境的问题主要是什么？
我觉得现在中国的主要环境问题就是一个空气的污染问题。
The most problem now is the air pollution.
因为在中国的话，中国是一个人口的大国，所以面对一个这样的人口大国，会有很多人会有汽车，所以对环境的污染会是一个很大的影响。
Because China has a big population, so definitely many people will have cars, and it will really affect the environment, the air pollution.
所以我的建议也是，低碳出行，共建绿色家园。
So she's advocating that we have to green our environment, green environment, and also to minimize the pollution.
我希望每一个人都是更多的去减少车辆的出行，而从事的是一些公共场合的车辆，例如地铁呀、自行车啊这样的出行。
So to minimize driving your own car and use the public transport like the mass transit system or the buses.
Thank you, Ms. China. Now let's welcome Ms. Guam.
Good morning, everyone, and Hakaday. My name is Emma May Sheedy. I'm 18 years old, proudly representing my beautiful island of Guam. I am a student at St. Thomas Aquinas College in New York, and I'm studying to be a broadcast journalist. I have an athletic and academic scholarship to the school, and I've worked in the journalism industry for the past 2 years. I have traveled to 27 countries and 22 United States. My environmental advocacy is teamwork. We must work together to make a bigger difference in Mother Earth.
Emma, 27 countries, that's a lot.
Yes.
What do you think is the biggest difference among these countries, and what is one thing that binds us all?
One thing that I find that everything's different is the cultures, but at the same time it brings us all together because you find something in that country that's similar to you. I've lived in 3 countries, and everywhere I've been, I've found a place that is just like the other ones. Even though the languages are different, there's so many barriers in that, and some people are a lot more traditional than others. The ability that the country's culture brings everyone together and the world together, I think.
Good morning. Happy day.
Morning.
Is there something you find familiar here in the Philippines with the island of Guam?
Yes. We actually have a lot of Filipinos in Guam, and one of the things I love about coming here, I've actually been here 6 times, is how family-oriented everyone is. Everyone is so kind, and you're just like family. You walk on the street, and everyone's just like, oh, hi, welcome, you know, I hope you're enjoying your time. Why don't you come to our family barbecue, or why don't you go to the beach together, and stuff like that. And it's just like Guam.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How do you apply teamwork in advocacy?
My advocacy is teamwork, and what I like to do is I like to bring the community involved in all of the activities that I do. I've had 2 huge campaigns on island, and what I did is I made sure that I didn't go to local brands or companies, and I went straight to the people. I got the people to donate what they could. I had the people work in the schools. I had them work on the beaches, and that's one of the ways that I brought the teamwork into advocacy. And again, if we all work together, you'll see that your friends are doing it. You'll see that, oh, that cool person at school is doing it. Why don't I do it? I'm gonna get involved too. And everyone will just start doing the same thing if it becomes a trend.
What do you think is the biggest environmental challenge faced by Guam?
The biggest environmental challenge would be how much bags that are being left just around the beaches and on the sides of the roads, just the trash there, because the economy depends a lot on tourism, and when tourists come to the island, they want to see someplace beautiful. They don't want to see the trash on the side of the road or on the beach. They want to go somewhere that's gorgeous, and you know, they don't have to worry about, oh, I need to crop my picture to make sure the trash isn't in the pictures. So I think that's one of the biggest environmental challenges that Guam faces.
Judges, if no more questions, I think that's it for Ms. Guam.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Now it's time to meet Miss India.
Magandang umaga and namaste to all the respected judges. My name is Nishi Bhardwaj and I am representing the Diversity Culture India. And I have done my post-graduation in English literature and currently working with an NGO which works towards the upliftment of the farmer of my country. My advocacy is to stop air pollution by the burning of palm residue and give the education to the farmers to be doing best in the farming and agriculture.
Hi Nishi. You know, I think one of the most understated profession is farming, and the farmers do not get they do not get enough credit that they deserve. How do you work with farmers and, number one, uplift their lives, and number two, how can you convince them that what they're doing can really help the environment?
Like, I had a meeting with the farmers 1 month ago, and I met them and I asked them about their problems and what they are facing right now in my country. That was like they didn't get any marketing facilities, so they can sell their food in a right way and at the time. So that's why I asked them and I told them about the things they can do, and we provide them some equipment they can use in the farming, and the fertilizers which are organic and they do not like spoil soil, so we don't like lose nutrients and the we are having nitrogen and phosphorus in the soil right now most of the time. So that's why I'm giving them organic elements so they can add into their farming and give their best to this farming and earn more. And they are earning loans from like banks, and we have facilities in the bank for the farmers to get the loan at the lowest price. Yeah, thank you. That's good. Thank you.
Good morning. Is this mechanism, your work with the NGO, can this be done in other countries?
What? Can you repeat the question?
Can this be done in other countries, the work that you're doing with farmers?
Yeah, as I know that most of the Asian countries have agricultural economies, like Philippines is too. And I can say that we can use this in other countries too. We can educate them about the fertilizer and how to use them, how the right way to use everything in the farming, and we can have most of the production to sell to other countries too, and give the farmers the opportunity to distribute their foods and have some earnings for themselves and their family.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Out of curiosity, the caste system, is it still being practiced in India this very day, or is it dissipating?
We had caste system before, but now India has come long way from the caste system, and now we don't have it. Like we eat with the lower caste also, and we do everything, like we mingle now with each other, and there is no caste system as of now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Miss India.
Thank you so much.
Next up, Miss Indonesia.
Magandang umaga po everyone. My name is Vashti and I represent tropical Indonesia. 3 facts about me. I was born and raised in Indonesia, but I am fluent in 2 languages, English, Indonesia. I'm learning 2 more languages, Korean and French. I graduated from a double degree major focusing on communications from University of Indonesia and University of Queensland, Australia. And I was brought up in a family who loves nature. My dad's a mountaineer and my mom loves to garden, so that's a little bit about me. My advocacy is to prevent plastic from ending up in our open waters through education, ecotourism, and community engagement.
Hi. All right. The Oceans Conference just ended in Bali.
Yes.
You've heard about what our president has done with Boracay. What lessons can you bring back to your country after learning about how successful Boracay rehabilitation was?
Yes, I'm so impressed by your president because it's not easy to close up an island that gives a lot of profit in the tourism industry in the Philippines. And in Indonesia, because I work closely with the Ministry of Tourism in Indonesia, I know that they're doing their very best to make Indonesia a more sustainable tourism spot. But hand in hand in my advocacy, because I'm also working closely with ecotourism, I make eco bricks through the plastic waste that we have in Indonesia and teach housewives to make the eco bricks, which then turn into furnitures that I put in the ecotourism spots. Hopefully with the murals that I make through this eco bricks, they can see how many waste we create through plastic, and then in return, we'll have a more sustainable tourism spot. The key from Boracay that I learned is discipline, and it's something that I want to bring back to my country.
Your advocacy is very good, but it's important to address what we call as responsible production and consumption, and especially in your case, plastic. How can this be done, this advocacy?
Right now, I'm using my platform the best I could, which is using my voice as Miss Earth Indonesia 2018. I'm approaching the biggest stakeholder right now, which is the public. So when the public is educated and see what they can do more with the plastic that they have in their house and see how many waste, when they see it and acknowledge it, they want something to change. And because I'm approaching the biggest stakeholder, then we can voice out our opinion to the government and to the NGOs, that then we can work together in unity to help this issue.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Have you observed any shared cultural values between the Indonesians and Filipinos?
Yes, I've been here for a month and I feel like it's the second home. We have similar languages as well. For example, lalaki, payung, so we have similar language as well. And we're both very welcoming. Hospitality is such a big thing both here in the Philippines and Indonesia, so I love it here.
Terima kasih, Miss Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
She was Miss Korea last year, actually.
안녕하세요. 저의 이름은 송수연이고요. 한국 사람입니다. 저의 취미는 댄스, 랩, 그리고 수상스키, 골프, 요가이며 저희 특기는 탱고입니다.
Hi everyone, my name is Song Soo-hyun. I'm from Republic of Korea. I love to dance and rap and skiing, and her special talent is tango.
저의 애드보카시는 엔트리 폼에는 인간의 책임감을 작성을 했는데 이 필리핀에 오게 되면서 정말 많은 생각을 했어요.
Her advocacy in the entry form was about responsibility, but when she arrived in the Philippines, her advocacy changed a little bit when she saw the conditions.
저는 제주도에 가서 이제 전기차에 대해서 보게 되었는데 그 전기차는 정말 감동적인 하나의 환경적인 존중하는 것이었어요. 그래서 이 필리핀이라는 곳에 전기차가 이제 도입이 된다면 정말 더 아름다운 나라가 되지 않을까 하는 생각이 들었어요.
Well, she had shoot her eco video in Jeju Island. She had encountered the introduction of electric car, and she found that it is very good and overwhelming a resolution for climate change, since there's a lot of cars. And when she arrived in the Philippines and she saw the traffic conditions and the air pollutions, she thought that it would be better to introduce the usage of electric car.
그래서 이 정말 아름다운 보라카이라는 곳에 전기차가 도입이 된다면 더 아름답고 사랑스러운 필리핀이 되지 않을까 하는 생각에 일렉트리카를 저의 애드보카시로 정했습니다.
Well, Jeju is a very famous ecotourism spot, so she had thought that it would be good to introduce electric car in Boracay, one of the most beautiful islands in the Philippines, so that Philippines will have a very good ecotourism spots and maintain this good biodiversity. Therefore, her advocacy is usage of electric car with responsibility.
Very good suggestion. I agree with you to use electric cars in Boracay. But what was your favorite part of the pageant?
대회를 하시면서 가장 좋았던 점이 어떤 거예요?
가장 좋았던 것은 제가 어떻게 보면 한국의 대표로 여기에 참여하게 되었고 이제 많은 친구들을 사귀게 되었는데 정말 한 사람 한 사람의 책임감을 갖고 환경에 대해서 존중을 한다면 정말 어떻게 보면은 한 사람 한 사람의 책임감이 정말 대단한 힘이 될 수 있고 그 힘이 모아지면은 정말 아름답고 사랑스러운 그런 우리의 지구가 되지 않을까 이런 생각을 했습니다.
As a representative Miss Korea, Miss Earth Korea, she had got to know a lot of other representatives from different countries, and she admired the fact that each of them have their responsibility and love and care for their own environment and ultimately our Mother Earth, because she believes that every small move that looks as if it has no impact at all, if it's gathered together like in this pageant Miss Earth, it'll make a great impact and change. So she admired the fact that everybody has their own plan and love and responsibility for their respective Mother Earth.
I read that the South Koreans, especially in Seoul, are very concerned about the air pollution problem. What has the government done about? What is the government doing about this? What steps are they taking to address this?
한국에는
Because we have the same problem.
한국에 지금 대충 air pollution 심하다고 그랬어요. 먼지하고 미세먼지하고. 그럼 우리 정부가 그것에 대해서 어떻게 반응했는지 어떤 행동들을 취하는지 물어보시고 있어요.
우리나라는 그 미세먼지에 대해서 많은 그런 문제점이 있었는데 그 되게 심한 날에는 대부분 사람들이 대중교통을 이용할 수 있게 이제 그 날짜를 정했어요. 짝수인 날짜에는 자동차의 번호가 짝수인 번호 들어있는 자동차만 운행을 하고 나머지 분들은 대중교통을 이용할 수 있게 그런 정책을 취하고 있습니다.
Well, there's a lot of air pollution in our country. So what government has taken is that they set the numbers in the car plate. So only those, at a certain date, only those plate number with even number can use their cars. And on other days, only the car plate numbers with odd number can use their respective cars. So the government is encouraging the use of public transportation so that there will be less air pollution in the country.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Miss Ria. For our judges' information, we are having Miss Japan later this afternoon as we are waiting for her translator to arrive. And now let's meet Miss Malaysia.
Good morning, everyone. I am Jasmine Yo, and I'm from Malaysia. My advocacy is marine preservation and coral conservation. That is all from me. Thank you.
Hi. I believe this is not your first time in the Philippines, right?
Yes, this is not my first time.
What was your impression when you went here for the first time in the country, and how did it change now that you came back?
The first time when I visited the Philippines, I was culture shocked because I've been traveling a lot of places, and this is the first time that I came to the Philippines. And after seeing so many citizens, I rarely see any trees over here, but I'm proud that the Philippines are trying their best to save the environment. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Dr. Mann, go ahead.
You mentioned that marine conservation is your advocacy. What are the problems with respect to marine protection?
Because marine preservation, I'm trying to preserve the marine life because those are one of the major sources of our food and minerals. The problem that causes the marine is because of the plastic, the human waste. I am a crafter, and I love to craft something about something upcycling. And right over here, my accessories. This is made from e-waste, and this is from plastics. I even educate the younger generation on how they can have a creative mind and try to use recycled items to make a difference.
Good morning.
Morning.
In your opinion, would you say religion is a means of having people cohesive in a society, or could it be a source of division?
Sorry, I don't know.
Would religion unite? Because I know Malaysia is multicultural.
Yes.
Would you say religions help the people to unite under they call it the Bengara, you call it in Malaysia? Yeah, that one, right? So was religion instrumental? Would you say Christianity, Islam, Buddhism? See, I know you're multicultural. Was it instrumental, or was that also a cause of a rift, of a division?
In Malaysia, we are very equality. We treat each other as humans. We have no racism. We treat each other friendly and equality. Thank you.
How do you feel about your new government?
My new government, I'm really proud of what he's doing right now. He even tried to cut down the GST, and I'm proud that he tried to make the changes because every government trying their best to help our citizens to have a proper way on how they can have a good livelihood for them.
You don't think his age is a liability?
No, I'm very proud that his age is right now like 90-ish, right? And I'm very happy that he is taking part and doing his best to help our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Malaysia. You can now breathe the backstage. All right, now let's have Miss Myanmar. Just for everyone's information, we are live on our Facebook page and Miss Earth Official.
Good morning, judges. My name is Choi Wada. I am a happy person and too positive girl. I'm flexible, self-motivator, and I love challenges. I'm the person who loves animals and nature. And I'm 26 years old, studying master in hospitality tourism management in Switzerland. And my advocacy is simple. It is to go green and switch to eco-friendly products instead of using plastic to save our Mother Earth from global warming that we are facing today.
Hi. How can we make our hospitality industry more eco-friendly?
For example, from the technology, from the IT department, we can use like sensor or IT sensor switch in the bathroom, and then we can also use the key card to save electricity, to save energy, and also we can use green, eco-friendly housekeeping service. For example, we can use you can use that sign that is like we don't you don't as a guest we don't need housekeeping service daily. Instead, maybe like to save more energies and to save water.
Good morning. You said that you love animals. There are animals that are very endangered in the world. What do you think can we do to protect endangered species?
I will say that we should be more restrict the law. For example, like in our country, it happened the same. We have a lot of endangered species like tigers and especially elephants. It happened just only because of we don't have a strict law. So as a government, they should they should be more restrict than now. So I would like to say that be strict the laws.
Morning.
Morning.
What would you say will be the important tourist spots to visit in your country, in Myanmar?
Excuse me?
The places to visit in Myanmar, which would be interesting.
I will say that as a visitor, you should visit our heritage sites where it is situated in the middle part of Myanmar. And another one is the lake called Inle Lake. It is in northern and it's starting to disappear because of the deforestation around the lake. So I would like to say the visitor to come and see our Inle Lake because it's almost disappeared. So this is the best time to come and see our lake.
Is illegal mining a problem in Myanmar, in your country?
Legal mining, yes.
Is it occurring in your country? Is it a problem over there?
Legal mining is yes, because of the economic development. People do more mining in our country, but it's not legal actually. So we should be set more. How can I say? Actually, mining should not be legal because it destroys our natural resources, especially the trees. Because if you want to do mining, we have to
sacrifice a lot of trees. We have to sacrifice a lot of swines, and so that's why it shouldn't be legal, in my humble opinion. Yes.
Thank you very much, Miss Myanmar. Next up, Miss Nepal.
Hello judges, I'm Priya Sikdar. I am a development graduate. I am a social entrepreneur by profession. I work for Girls and Women's Rights for 5 years now. And with that, my advocacy is intergenerational equity. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your advocacy.
Intergenerational equity, we're using our resources in a manner that doesn't hamper the access of future generation, being mindful with our actions. Yes.
Yes, that's true because we only borrow our resources from the future
Yes,
generations.
exactly.
Right. What was your favorite part of the pageant so far?
Traveling to islands, because we come from a land like Kaji, and islands are the very new thing for me. So I was really excited traveling with the islands. Yes.
Did you get to go to Boracay?
Unfortunately not, but I went to Palawan and Kota Naumka, if I pronounce it right. But yes, it was amazing. Yeah, but Palawan. Katanawan. It's so hard to pronounce.
But San Vicente is also one of our famous ecotourism sponsor in the country. How will you promote Palawan to your countrymen?
I would just like to quote a simple thing: a home away from home is the places and the beaches here. Because whenever you go, whichever the place is, you need to be you need to be comfortable. You need to be happy about the places. And the only simple thing that people will say, why ecotourism? I don't want to promote it. I'll just do something that makes me happy, and it will make you happy because it's a home away from home.
What is the biggest environmental issue in Nepal?
So I would say air pollution, because as a majority city, we are the country population of 3 crores, and the air pollutions are like catastrophic. And because of this pollution, we have been the nervous systems, and we are also having a lot of diseases because of the pollution. And because of the also pollution, we barely see light. Like it's like also hampering the lights. Like we cannot see stars properly in the nighttime. So it's being a major problem. So I would say air pollution.
And how is your government addressing that?
Government is by the policies. Like air pollution is something that doesn't happen. Though policies are there, everything is there. Government has a strict pollution provisions that though Nepal is a country, we don't have a lot of infrastructure, but still air pollution is there because of the vehicles. Of the older vehicles, we have still old vehicles. So because of that, government is trying to ban those vehicles. Because of those vehicles, the air pollution should be addressed, but it is not being exactly, because it's not only the government who has policy, it's also the people, how they take it. So people are a bit not careful about their action. That's why it's the reason that it's still not being addressed, but there is a policy where use of old vehicles, the major reason for air pollution, is being controlled.
You mentioned intergenerational equity.
Yes.
People might say our responsibility is to develop. How would you therefore explain the responsibility of present to the future?
Not letting people to believe that someone else will save the earth is the biggest problem that we have, and that's why I chose intergenerational equity. That this main problem that we all are having is the belief that someone else will save it, rather than not focusing on what you can do it. So intergenerational equity, because every day we are using resources in a way that we think is easy, which we are thinking is it doesn't harm anyone because it's the way I am living. It's the livelihood I have choose for myself. But that's action, that particular action and behavior is hampering. So that's why I tell people that be responsible enough and don't wait for someone else to do it. You start by yourself. That would be my take on how to make people more responsible. I cannot force people. I can just tell people that be careful and be mindful with your actions. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Nepal. And our bellman is being mindful of the time, really. Next up, let's welcome Miss New Zealand.
is Jayla, and I'm proudly representing my beautiful country, New Zealand. I have worked and studied in pharmacy for 7 years. I have travelled to 21 countries before turning 21, and I can understand a little bit of sign language. My environmental advocacy is the conservation of biodiversity.
So you're gonna make it a goal to have visit one country every year?
Yes, I'm actually up to 23 countries now, so maybe I'll make it 50 before 50.
What's next on your list?
Oh, I would love to visit Croatia or Brazil. Yes.
Now you have friends who can lead you
I
there.
do. I have friends all around the world, so that's the benefit of this, isn't it?
All right, Jayla, you said that your background is pharmacy. Now with the whole food movement growing, what can you say about the role of the pharmaceutical industry in promoting whole food?
Yes, so working
and
in
organic farming, sorry.
Yes, and I believe organic farming is very important, especially in New Zealand, as agriculture is one of our biggest environmental issues. It does cause 50% of our greenhouse gas emissions. I do want to push for more organic foods and whole foods in New Zealand and around the world. So we have started in New Zealand. There are a lot of bulk food shops now, and I hope to advocate and advertise more of that, yes.
Having visited so many countries, what are you learning about biodiversity in these different countries, about the crisis of biodiversity?
Yeah, travelling has helped me learn a lot about biodiversity. Not only is it absolutely beautiful, and there are so many different beautiful landscapes and sceneries, but it is also very important. It can provide medical benefits, benefits for the ecosystems, cultural purposes, educational purposes, and food. So I have learnt that all around the world there are different varieties, and no matter what kind of difference it has to other countries, it is important and we cannot live without it.
You're in pharmacy.
Yes.
I read somewhere that, you know, taking expired medicines is not really bad. I mean, the expiry dates, that are, the pharmaceutical companies place on medicine is really more for commercial purposes rather than the real, therapeutical effect of the medicines. Do you agree with that or no?
I would not recommend taking out-of-date medication. No, so we don't usually come across that often in the pharmacy stores. So we do. We would never give out expired medication, no.
Well, I don't know if you know. I mean, there was a big study conducted by the U.S. military.
Yes.
Precisely because I guess they buy a lot of medicines and a lot of them expire.
Yes.
And the results of the study show that expired medicines are not really have not lost their, you might say, effect.
Yeah.
They're really just as good as, except for certain kinds like antibiotics or all the other medicines. There's no expiry,
If I were to work in the laboratory side of the pharmacy, I would love to find out more information about that for sure. And yes, it does come to a lot of waste when the medication is expired, and we would like to minimise that. So if we could implement the 5 R's in pharmacy and workplaces, that could help.
How would you promote New Zealand rather as a tourism destination?
So New Zealand is a fantastic tourist destination. It has a lot of ecotourism activities, including hikes, whale watching, swimming with dolphins. I don't know if you've seen the film Lord of the Rings. However, the entire film was filmed in New Zealand, so that can showcase a lot of the scenery and landscapes that New Zealand has to offer. And so I hope the whole world can see that it is a naturally beautiful country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss New Zealand. Now it's time to meet Miss Philippines.
Good morning po. Good morning. I am Celeste Cortesi. I'm 20 years old, and I am a product of 2 different cultures, Filipino and Italian. I was born actually in Pasay City, but when I was 6 months, I left the Philippines because my father was sick, and I grew up in Italy. I studied psychology during the high school. My father passed away when I was 10 years old. That is why I started to work since when I was 16 years old, first as a model, in order to help my Filipino mother. My advocacy is plastic innovation, and I choose this advocacy because I think that it's really hard to avoid all the plastic in this world. But I think that our challenge today is to recycle, be innovative and creative. So plastic can be used in a lot of ways, like for example to build roads, to build houses, for our clothes. With our technology, we can create bioplastic made by agricultural products and use plastic bottles. So yes, I came for the first time in the Philippines 6 months ago as a candidate of Miss Philippines, and to win the title made me discover even more my Filipino side. I'm still learning to adapt to the Filipino culture. I'm still learning to as much as I can about the Philippines, but today I can say that I'm really proud to wear my sash.
You joined the Miss Philippines and now you're the Miss Earth. How do you compare the two? Or which one did you enjoy? Or are you enjoying more?
I mean,
The local one or this international one?
Mr. Philippines was harder because I came for the first. It was my first time in the Philippines. I didn't know how to speak English, how to speak Tagalog, so it was very hard for me.
Oh, you're so good now.
Thank you. I'm still learning, but thank you. And I think I like more Mr. because I have the chance to talk with all the girls from all over the world. So I like so much this aspect.
Have you tried anything outrageous so far here in the Philippines? Together with your co-candidates, have you tried something very different?
Well
traveled, yes.
About the other cultures?
About here. Here in the Philippines. For example, have you tried balut or
About
with other candidates?
No.
Will it make them try balut?
No, because I never tried balut as well.
Okay, we'll make this activity happen soon.
Yes, I know. They told me that I have to try. They say that it's good. I will try for sure.
But what are you telling your co-candidates? What's the best part about the Philippines?
I think that the best part of the Philippines is the Filipino peoples, because I grew up in Italy and there the people are not like here. The hospitality is very, very amazing. I think that Filipino people are the most kind people in the world. So this is what I really like of the Philippines, and that is why I want to stay here.
Good morning. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
What are the cultural traits which are similar between Filipinos and Italians?
I think that we have the same values. For example, about the family. Italy is similar with the Filipino culture because we have the respect with we have the respect of the people. We have the respect with the family. So I think this is very common with Filipino people and Italian people. The respect with our family. Thank you.
We're done.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
you, Miss Philippines.
Now we have Miss Samoa.
Talafalava and Mabuhay, everybody. My name is Rebecca Senyam and I'm representing the beautiful island of Samoa. My advocacy is to save our drowning islands by sharing our stories and protecting our oceans. And I'm very excited to be here. An interesting fact about myself is that I run workshops in my country, in Australia and New Zealand, teaching spoken word poetry and encouraging students to go back to their ancestral roots and be orators and speak of their experiences with rising sea levels in our country. Thank you.
Okay. When was the last time you ate halo halo?
The last time I ate halo halo, I can't remember. We have it nearly every time, so I just enjoy it when I can.
All right. We are both coastal countries.
Yes.
What lesson did you learn here in the country that you can bring back to Samoa?
Yes. We traveled to Legazpi. It was our first out-of-town trip, and one of the first activities we did was tree planting. And I met one of the workers there, and I spoke to him, asking him questions about how long it would take for the tree to grow and who would be taking care of it. And I also asked him what he was doing in terms of protecting the ocean. And he said that they plant coral into the ocean to help keep it clean and the fish to continue to come in. So he encouraged that it's something that we should be implementing more in Samoa. So that's a great lesson I learned from the Philippines and from Legazpi that I'll be taking back to my home and to my people. Thank you.
So sea level rise is a key effect of climate change. And how do you think the world is listening to the issues of low-lying states like Samoa?
I don't think they are listening. Ultimately, not many people even knew about our country. When I arrived, they didn't know where we were. So the reason why my advocacy is about storytelling is because we shouldn't have to put much effort into trying to change how the world is thinking. If you care about something, you will find a change in yourself. We are a country that contributes the least to the effects of climate change, but we are experiencing the most. And what I'm encouraging people from my country to do is to speak up about how we are facing those effects. Our islands are getting smaller, and the beaches that people see as just a tourist destination is becoming no more. They need to understand that it is our home, it's part of our livelihood, and it's what keeps us alive. And when there is nothing left, we need to move into other countries, and some other countries aren't as welcoming of outsiders. So, yeah.
You were saying that some people that you met, I guess some didn't even know were Samoans.
Samoa.
Samoa, and I can't even pronounce it. So obviously, I'm one of them that don't know about it, and that's why it's not in my bucket list. How would you convince me to include Samoa in my bucket list?
Yes, so Samoa is located in the South Pacific Ocean. It's in between New Zealand and Australia. It's a beautiful island filled with people who are similar to the people of the Philippines, very kind-hearted, always smiling, always welcoming. And we have an eco-tourist destination in Samoa called the Mata River Beach, and it has beach valleys, which is made out of natural items. And so I think if you're wanting to go and travel to somewhere that is very environmentally friendly and cares about the way we live, and like the Philippines uses paper bags and is friendly towards the environment, then Samoa is the best place for you to go.
We'll look you up when we go there.
Thank you very much.
Alright, thank you, Ms. Samoa. Next up, Miss Singapore.
Hi, my name is Kara. I'm from Singapore and I'm 19 years old. I'm currently a student taking my diploma in environmental science. I have been learning dance for 7 years for now, or 8, going 8 years. And I have a brother and my family moved to Singapore actually, immigrated to Singapore when I was 2 years old.
When you say you're taking a diploma in environmental science, is that a college degree? What do you mean by that?
Because in Singapore there is after your middle school, we don't actually go to high school. There's polytechnic. Polytechnic is basically something like pre-university. So that we take our diplomas in our the courses that we like or are interested in to work in the future. Yeah.
What's next after that diploma?
I am thinking of maybe pursuing in this line of work and pursuing my studies first into university, like taking marine and environmental studies in the James Cook University.
Kara, everyone says that Singapore is so green, that you have a lot of trees. Is it really as green as people say it is now?
It's green as we have very strict rules, so we do not litter because we get fined very easily.
Let the world know. For example, I heard that if you throw chewing gum on the ground, you'll be fined some.
Yeah.
How much?
We can't sell chewing gum, so you can't find chewing gum in Singapore unless it's in the pharmacy. And you can chew, you can chew it, but you can't throw it on the floor. You can chew it. Of course you can chew it.
So you have to
You
swallow
can't. No, you have to throw it in the trash and not on the floor or stick it somewhere. You can get fined from 100, but if you do it repeatedly, you can get fined up to 1,000. Yeah.
Morning. Would you say the late PM Lee Kuan Yew is one of the greatest leaders we have in the world?
I am very grateful for our late leader Lee Kuan Yew, because he helped make Singapore what it is today in such short years of 53. We're only 53 years old and we are one of the most developed countries in the world, and I'm very grateful for him. And I'm thankful that he made Singapore such a lawful and strict country, so that we wouldn't think of breaking the law, and because it leads to getting fined, going to prison, and everything, and they will, I think he is a very good leader, and in my heart, he will always be one of the greatest leaders in Singapore.
Singapore is a leader of this alliance of small island states advocating for action on climate change. How would you contribute to this effort, being an environmental science student?
My advocacy is actually about limiting our consumption of our materials to achieve less waste. And in my line of study, we research about reusing our waste materials and converting it into usable things. As currently I'm working on a project that uses hydrochar from coffee, the coffee grounds. We turn into hydrochar and filtering water, so we do not need to use so much resin and using so much chemicals into filtering water. And personally, I try not to use too much of disposable waste. So I always bring with me a set of utensils and metal straws, so that I wouldn't need to make use of plastic utensils that fast food and everything they provide to us. And I try to encourage my friends to do it too. So on a personal note, I think I would try my best to encourage less waste production.
Time is up for Miss Singapore. Thank you very much. Now let's have Miss Sri Lanka.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Natasha Fernando. I'm 21 years old. I'm a network engineering student. So I'm just a simple girl who loves to push myself out to the boundaries always. My advocacy is preserve and conserve marine ecosystem and the coastal area. Apart from my advocacy, I would love to help teenagers who are lacking confidence, who need to learn about self-love, because so as the environment, our next generation is our future. If that aspects fail, we won't be having a good future. So yeah.
Hi, Natasha. How do you think is social media helping or hampering having a positive self-image?
Yes, social media. Most of the social media influencers, most of them, I'm not saying everyone, they always tend to show the positivity of their self. So most of the teenagers, they look up to them, but they always see is the perfect life of the influencers, but not the negative side of their life. So like I think when they see the positive side, like they tend to have the same life as the influencers. But when they get to face something negative in their life, they lack with their confidence, so they don't know what to do in their life. So yeah.
What will you do in the future as a network engineer?
Future as a network engineer. So yes, in Sri Lanka, feminine participation in network engineering is there. Like feminine participation is lacking. So I think I just want to be in like a good example for me, mainly to the feminine society where I mean, push yourself out of the boundaries. You can do everything. I mean, not better than men, but being equal. So yeah.
Good morning.
Good
What are
morning.
your impressions of the country when you first arrived?
To Philippines.
Yes, Philippines.
So the environment, of course, it's tropical, same as Sri Lanka, and I feel like home, honestly, because the people here are so friendly, and the hospitality is kind of similar to my country. So I really feel like home, and like yeah. So I'm so happy to be here.
I think that's it for Miss Sri Lanka. Thank you very much. Next up, let's welcome Miss Thailand. Her translator, Mr. Apiwat Primpricha of Colabera Translations.
Hello, my name is Nilada Jesada Priyakun. I am 26 years old. I am from Thailand. สวัสดีค่ะ
Yeah. Yes, good morning. I'm Apiwat Pisha. Today I'm the interpreter from Thailand.
Good morning. Good morning. Several years back, we were in Thailand and we experienced the very, very bad traffic. Is that still going on right now?
การจราจรที่ประเทศไทยถ้าในกรุงเทพนะคะก็มีการจัดการระบบเป็นอย่างดีแล้วก็ตอนนี้ประเทศไทยของเราก็มีการจัดทำทางเพื่อการสัญจรให้สะดวกมากยิ่งขึ้นที่จากในกรุงเทพนะคะให้ดีแล้วก็จัดสรรจากกรุงเทพสู่ภูมิภาคให้มีการสัญจรจราจรให้สะดวกมากยิ่งขึ้นต่อการเดินทางของคนแต่ละภูมิภาคเพื่อมาประกอบอาชีพในกรุงเทพแล้วก็การเดินทางกลับสู่ภูมิลำเนาให้สะดวกมากยิ่งขึ้นค่ะ
Yes, he said that the traffic nowadays in Thailand, right? The metro Bangkok is more convenient than the past. It means that it's not quite crowded traffic because the government have the solution about this concern. And not only in the metro but also the countryside is more convenient. That means the many people, a lot of people, and like the people in countryside can go to Bangkok very convenient than the past. Is more than convenient. Yes.
Good morning. Thailand is very much well known for its very effective reproductive health management. What would you advise other countries facing these problems, population management, reproductive health?
ค่ะปัญหาสุขภาพของประเทศไทยนะคะแต่คิดว่าประเทศไทยของเรามีการออกกำลังกายรณรงค์อย่างเช่นที่ต่างจังหวัดหรือในกรุงเทพหรืออย่างเช่นที่บ้านของตาเองคือประเทศไทยเราจะใช้เวลาในการออกกำลังกายก็คือหลังจากที่เลิกงานนะคะจากช่วงเวลาประมาณ5 โมงเย็นถึงประมาณ2 ทุ่ม3 ทุ่มอย่างนี้ก็จะมีการเต้นแอโรบิกออกกำลังกายเข้าฟิตเนสแล้วก็ดูแลเรื่องการทานอาหารจะทานอาหารให้ครบ5 หมู่แล้วก็ทานอาหารที่มีประโยชน์ต่อสุขภาพค่ะแล้วก็ที่สำคัญก็คือเราจะเน้นเรื่องการสามัคคีในการออกกำลังกายอย่างเงี้ยค่ะ
Yes, she said that in Thailand about your question. Now in Thailand, not only now but also from the past. In Thailand, we have the activity together, like the many exercise, aerobic dancing, and we focus on eating to eat all nutrients. That is very important for our health. This is her suggestion to suggest all over country in the world. Thank you.
Time is up, Ms. Thailand. Thank you very much.
Thank you. สวัสดีครับ
Time to meet Ms. Tonga.
Good morning and Malolele. My name is Maria and I'm proudly representing the Kingdom of Tonga. A little fun fact about myself is I was born and raised in Tonga in an Italian environment. At the age of 13, I got adopted and moved to New Zealand with my Kiwi parents. And at the age of 17, I chose to become independent and moved to Sydney, Australia, which I have been residing for the past 2 years. My advocacy is to create and share awareness to stop sea level rising in the South Pacific Ocean. In doing so, the next generation of my small nation, including all of the South Pacific nations, will have a place to call home for our future generation. Thank you.
Hi, Maria. The sea level rise as an issue is a big issue for people. But what was the biggest, how do I say this, revelation that you had? For example, here in the Philippines, there was an island here that you could freely walk along the seaside 10 years ago, but now it's underwater. Are there areas like that in Tonga as well right now that you personally saw for yourself?
Personally, I haven't seen it myself. Tonga has 175 islands itself. 4 or 5 of them are habited by humans. The others are not. But I have heard that another Pacific nation, such as Papua New Guinea, is currently undergoing problems with sea level rising. So the government has now started residing most of the residents into higher places, which is like 90 kilometers away from the sea area because it is going underground.
What is the importance of international cooperation in addressing this big problem, sea level rise and climate change?
I would say if we all work together in unity, in diversity, and we all create the problem isn't just about climate change or anything. So if we all incorporate our problems that we all have in each other's countries, I know that we're all suffering from sea level rising as well. So if we all help each other and come up with a solution to help each other, especially the small nations, we will all have Mother Earth as a home for all of us. If not, then we're all extinct.
You said you have been residing in Australia for the last 2 years. What are you doing in Australia?
In Australia, I am currently working as a performing artist, and I am a bar manager, but performing artist is, a dancer and a singer has been one of my passions. I come from a very musical family, and I chose not to take that path because I wanted to have my own life, my own name behind my surname. So when I moved to Australia, there was a better job opportunities for people my age, and it gave me more opportunities, and it gave me the opportunity to meet my national director, which he then sent me here to Miss Earth because he knew I was passionate about trying to save my nation and to make my nation proud and my family proud. And that's why I'm here today. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Tonga.
Thank you.
And the last but definitely not the least, candidate from Asia and Oceania, let's welcome Miss Vietnam. Miss Vietnam and her translator, Mr. Vu Tri Nguyen.
Good morning, everyone. And my name is Nguyen Phương Khánh. I'm studying marketing in Singapore, and today I'm so happy to present here. Pardon me for my English because it's not my first language, but I will try my best.
That's good.
And I want to say that my advocacy is about the balance of ecosystem and environmental protection at the Mekong Delta area.
We should put you together with Miss Cambodia. She also wants to help save the Mekong River. Yes. Okay. How do you propose that you do that? I mean, how will you concretely advocate for the saving of the Mekong River?
Because the Mekong River is the source of life for Vietnam and many neighbor countries, and the water is one of the more important things for our life. And in Vietnam, many people their life relies on the water, surface water. So I think protecting the river and the water is the more important thing that we need to concern right now. And the way I do is like I ask my friend we collecting and sorting all the waste at the riverside and on the river as well.
There are different countries along the Mekong River. So how do you assign responsibility in countering pollution in Mekong River?
Mekong River is not only in Vietnam and with many countries, and Miss Earth is the chain that I meet the representative of other countries around Mekong River as well. And we are the sister with the mind and the heart that we want to protect our environment. So that's why I use this opportunity and we can connect with the other representatives from Cambodia, and then we can maybe in the future implementing a new environmental project for Mekong Delta only.
Good morning. What are your impressions about the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, the ASEAN, and its contribution as a regional aggregation to the progress of your country, of Vietnam?
Sorry?
ASEAN, and how it has impacted in the growth of Vietnam. Vietnam is now a new industrializing country as well. So you think that contributed to the progress of Vietnam being a member of the ASEAN?
Yeah. I'm really happy for my country as we are in the role. And as in the future we will have more peace, more building, and people with good education, and that will be very happy, and we are so proud to become the member of Asia. And this one country rise up, another country also can follow. And with the development of technology and education, people will be more aware about the economic and the importance of environment as well.
All right, I think that's it for Miss Vietnam. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our ladies from Asia and Oceania. Now, before we move forward to meeting the ladies from Europe, the Americas, and Africa, we will have our lunch break. We will resume in an hour. Once again, Miss Earth 2018 would like to thank Diamond Hotel Manila, our official hotel partner. Viking Car Rental, our official bus transport. And to all our sponsors, Gandang Rigorous Chain of Salons, Coco Life, the official insurance provider, Miss Earth Foundation, Kitco Travel and Tours, Juraven Transport, Petron, knows you deserve only the best, San Miglite, Magnolia Chicken, Inebra San Miguel Premium Gin, Philippine Airlines, PCSO, Pacor, and Diamond Hotel.